Plus the editing processing now.
That's it, take one and action.
Oh, that's good. Now we take it raw.
Unscripted. Unscripted.
I told you the one you.
Yo, what's up happening, guys? Welcome to our School Podcast. Cliff here. Obviously, I'm not alone. I'm with the gang.
Yes.
What is up, guys?
Mr. Ngosana is here.
Yeah, I'm here.
Finally, the ghost.
The ghost
The ghost is out. The ghost finally is out.
Final.
But we have a special guest today on the podcast.
Jumping one person.
Sure, my brother should already introduce herself. Like I said, we have a guest. I feel like, name it brother. I feel like this one is very important.
Yeah, this one.
This one is very important, especially to us, to young people, as a whole. Not only to the LGBTQ community, but every young person.
Yeah.
If you wanna start something, if you wanna be a brand, if you wanna be a content creator, my brother, it needs you to follow, it needs you to understand, it needs you to know this person. Who am I talking about? Casio Black, ladies and gentlemen. That's the one, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my god, I feel so honored. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Casio Black. Welcome back to another video by Asikulume Podcast. I'm the special guest here, and I feel so honored to be on this platform.
Yeah, man. How are you?
Welcome.
I am great. I can't complain.
So before
such a lovely day.
Yeah. So before we start the show, we normally do this. So we need to know. We need to pick your mind. Like, what's on your mind? What's in your mind? What's going on with you? You know? How are you? How are you feeling?
I'm doing great.
How's winter for you?
I'm doing great. I'm extremely single. So the winter. Oh hell no. Hell to the no. No, I'm not looking. I'm actively not looking for anything
for now.
I don't know, like I'm currently going through a very great phase in my life. I feel like I'm very content in every single thing that I'm doing. My relationships, my family. I don't think there's an aspect of my life currently that is not in the best place. Even my relationship with God is at the best place. So I can't really ask for anything more.
Ooh. Nice thing that you touch on the relationship with God, man.
Yeah.
We especially the youth these days, we speak of Him, or we go to church just to touch on Him. It's not really a spiritual thing or a thing that I really want to do. But sometimes you find those people who say they go to church just because there's someone there that I know at church.
Yeah.
And Naganjan, when you go out, we go to church. When you come out, we're gonna take pictures. I'm gonna, for content. That's what's going on these days.
Or to please your family.
Yeah.
Hey, the joint gang. Joint gang. Yeah, that's true, man.
I mean, I feel like it's very important to, like, me, for instance, I've never really been a completely religious person. You know? Especially because I've had incidences when you're in the alphabet gang, you're generally always going to be generalized in a place where you don't want to find yourself in a religious space.
Oh yeah,
because it's always so much how God just looks down upon, frowns upon people
like that. Yeah,
you know
that's
what
so
I mean?
True. Yeah.
So it's easier for you to lose your way and just like get out of that space, because I mean, why am I trying to be religious when the Bible and God has already told me I'm condemned?
Were there times where you felt like that's what's happening when you go to church?
There is a specific time. Sorry, I got a lot of phlegm. So there is a specific time when I did go to a specific church. I'm not going to mention names. And that's the reason why I actually stopped going to church, because I was targeted. And I won't even tell you that this was in my head. Because I'm generally the type of person who give people like the benefit of the doubt. But that day I genuinely know that's exactly what happened. I was targeted.
They came to you like...
Not like specifically came to me, but I was sitting on the front row. And this specific pastor who was a guest,
Okay,
not
on
like
that
a
day,
guest case,
yeah.
but like to that specific church. You
Yeah.
know, like it's the mother church, that person's there.
Oh, okay.
And then he's preaching. I don't know if his sermon was about the famous Gomorrah and Sodoma.
Yeah.
But that's exactly what it became about, you know.
Ooh, and you
I was
did
wearing
the
a
front
very
line.
expressive outfit, front line, and that day I used to always go there with my friends. So that specific day I was there alone, you know. So I'm sitting alone.
I understand why it
Yeah.
was an attack.
No,
Literally.
it was an actual attack, you know, and he made me question if I ever want to go to a church, if I ever want to go to straight people churches.
Yeah.
And then I became very wary of churches that are not meant for me.
Wait, so you say it made you question whether you want to go to a straight church?
Yes.
Are they color church?
They are.
For real? Oh,
so
shut up! Shut
They
up!
are. I'm not so sure if there was one called Ark of Joy. That one I can mention because it wasn't the worst experience. Well, it wasn't home
Where is
for
it?
me. It was here in town. I'm not sure.
For real, Humphrey?
Yeah.
Oh,
It
I need to tell my
was
sister
nearby.
about this one.
There used to be like a thinking, Labik NPC corner back in the day. I'm
Yeah,
not sure if it's
yeah,
still
yeah,
there.
yeah.
There used to be like DSTV offices
Yeah.
nearby. I think it was nearby Marlott Street, somewhere there. Yeah, so they used to rent space that side.
Yeah.
So when Unklubuka lelo sondo lelo lili specific,
Yeah, and then go to.
and then I went there. However, for me, it just wasn't home. You know? Yeah, it
You grew up
wasn't
in
home. I grew up in Alliance, you know.
Even worse.
Yeah,
you know,
I grew up in Alliance.
it's
It's a traditional church.
It's a traditional
And
church, yeah.
I loved it. I've always loved it. I've never felt any judgment, you know.
Yeah,
I grew up in a space where people were very welcoming, even though they didn't really understand you.
Yeah.
But they would never really point out your differences, you know. And then when I moved here, and then obviously I had to now find a church, you know.
for yourself, yeah.
Yes, and the alliance being obviously I was still young at the time. My mom had already broken out of that specific church, but she was like, go and explore what you feel is right for you, you know. So I joined this one because my friends were going there, and it was like Model C Church. It was really nice, you know. The pastor's amazing. The pastor's wife, I love her. I've done her makeup a couple of times, and I used to love going to that church. I genuinely loved going there. Some of the sermons I still carry till today. You know, they lead the way I live and how I carry myself in so many instances. Even if I'm in a very dark place, some of them are things that I can literally reflect on and just be like, you know what, this is the season that they were talking about, and this is how I'm going to be able to overcome it because of these teachings. You know.
Yeah.
However, that specific thing that happened just made me be like, you know what, I need to be wary of straight people churches because at the end of the day. Not just that specific pastor, but you're always going to have someone who has it at the back of the mind that I probably don't deserve to be alive or whatever.
Imagine. Imagine. It's one of those things, my brother, but you know, when you I get to go directly, but you can tell with my
the
brother.
energy's off.
You can tell with my brother. This one is coming for me. So I want to start from the beginning. Right? Name. For real?
Sandile.
Oh, wow.
And as you can see that Brian on my Facebook, that's my second name.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Casio Black is the name from the streets. It's a nickname, you know.
How did it? Because it sounds fancy.
Yeah,
it sounds fancy, and so there's fancy, but watered. Nah. But I feel like once you put a black on something, it sounds like literally strong. You're like, okay, I know what I'm dealing with now. Now this is, you know.
So it's
how did it come about?
It came about from two jobs actually. So I like straight out of high school, probably a week after I finished my matric writing.
Yeah.
Probably even less than a week. This girl who we used to be friends used to do visual merchandising for Worth.
Yeah.
And then she asked me to join her team because like the two people that she used to work with, her manager and the other person was not working there anymore. So I think around the time we had like a visit, you know, and I had to choose through a bag of name tags because mine wasn't acquired yet. I had just been like extremely new. And to be quite honest, I wasn't even hired. I literally had to audition for the job. you know. So not like exactly audition, but I went there, I helped out for about a month, and then I went through my interview.
Okay.
You know, I was getting incentivized, I wasn't really getting paid.
Okay.
But because I was like, you know what, I'm okay with just getting a job. You know, it was exciting for me. I was quite young, you know, I was like, what, 17, 16,
It's
17,
you.
you know.
It's not
so,
school.
Yeah, so then I went through a bag of like name tags, you know, and everything was just Bonko San, whoever was just like, nah.
This is not me.
And then I found a specific name that looked like no other name that I found in the tag, you know. And then that name was Casio.
What?
And then literally I had to wear that name tag every single day.
So people approached you as
Casio. So sometimes I'd be like, who?
Keep a punch.
You know, it's on the tag, but it's not my name, you know. And then it literally grew, and then people genuinely started like talking to, like referring to me as Casio, you know.
Yeah.
And I left that job, went back to school.
So before you, what kind of a job was that one?
I was doing visual merchandising, so we used to dress the store. Yeah, basically anything that you see, like the windows, paint the windows, we dress the mannequins, and all those things. Yeah, so I stayed in that job for about a year. I left, went to school, came back, and then I remember, like I said, I went to Arca Global.
Yeah.
I did mining engineering, and then I came back. I had to do my practicals. I hated it. I was very claustrophobic. I wasn't the type of person to be working in the mine. It was not working out for me. You know. So I was like, no, this is not for me. I stopped, and then one of my friends at that time, Ngasana and she was like, oh friend, I left. I went to FET because I was like, I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
So let me go to FET and see if there's like a course that I can do.
Yeah.
Maybe that aligns with what I've been doing, and maybe try and like see where
bring
I can go with
there,
it. You know? Still align myself within the same thing. And then when I was there, I came back after I got like the information that I knew to apply, how I needed to apply and everything. Then as I'm walking back, I bump into a former friend, and she's like, "Oh, my boyfriend is taking me to Riverside. I'm going to go and apply for a job."
Okay.
So I'm like, "Okay."
Take it
I've
on.
got my CV on my phone, so whatever, right? We get there. I print out my CV, and then I applied at 2 places, and I literally got both jobs.
Which were?
There was one called, was it River Pharmacy?
Okay.
Yeah, there was a place called River Pharmacy. It was a pharmacy before it became Discount, before Discount moved up there to Crossings.
To Crossing, yeah.
I worked there for about 8 days, and then Mac called me, and then they wanted me to come and work.
Like they picked you.
Literally, I know. I applied for 2
places.
You
also applied.
And I got 2 jobs.
Bro, so you want to tell me you applied for 2 places and you got hired for both
places?
So you need to pick one.
No, I didn't pick one. I went 8 days at the other one.
It's like, guys, not for me.
When this contract started, which was also a temp position, then I was just like, bye. You know, I got enough money to be able to buy a wardrobe. Because I needed to have a wardrobe when I started with Mac. Because I had to wear black all the time, which is where the other half of my name comes from.
Casual black.
Yes. You know,
man.
Because to some degree, at some point, people thought I was gothic. People used to see me wearing black, and other people literally used to call me just black.
Okay.
You know, and then that's how all the names came about.
That's a nice name. That has a nice ring to it.
Yeah.
By the way, you love clothes, man.
Yeah, I love clothes. I mean, when I was younger, I wanted to like do styling or do fashion, something. You know, and it was a really, really big dream of mine. But like, you grow up, and then we grow up in black households where you need to be secured before you follow your dreams.
True, that's how it is.
And it was important, obviously, for me to make sure that I follow where my parents want me to go to. Not necessarily that's where I wanted to go to, because I mean, obviously, I couldn't even do that.
What did the parents want?
No, my dad literally wanted me to do, like, to be a doctor or something like that.
That's a good father, right?
He wanted to be, because the thing is, there was a lot of pressure at home. You know, it was like, oh, you're very smart. And
you were one of the kids.
I know what I said. You're very smart. Like, wow.
Maybe I articulate myself that way. I don't know.
No, but people need to tell you. You don't need to tell yourself.
Yeah, like that's true. But the thing is, remember, I'm young, you know, and if I'm being honest, I was extremely insecure when I was very young. I hadn't found my voice. I hadn't found out who I am. Obviously, as a lot of young people, you know. And when you're telling me I'm smart, it doesn't really make a difference in my life when I don't feel smart.
Yeah.
Bruh, I've noticed a trait. To put in, I noticed a trait. It seems like you one person who can't just be.
What do you mean?
So at 17,
Yeah.
literally a week after you had a job, and after that you're like, you went to school, and then when you're down in school, you had a job. Then after like you're like, and then it was something else. You can't just. Besides doing one thing, you just cannot do nothing.
Yeah.
There always have to be something. Nah.
I've always had an independent spirit.
Nah.
Yeah, I've always had an independent spirit. Like I said, my parents used to put a lot of pressure on me specifically. I've got 2 brothers.
Yeah.
I'm the middle child.
Oh, the black sheep.
So if you the literal black sheep,
The black sheep.
I'm the literal black sheep.
Nah.
You know, I'm even the darkest one in my family.
For real?
Yeah, my brothers are light skinned, like my father. You know. So,
And you had to be the,
and I
the
had
only
to be
one.
the dark
So
one.
where do you
I mean,
get-
I've
where
even
do you
gotten
get
the
the colour?
jazzy.
So where do you get the color?
My mom.
Oh.
I look like my mom. If you ever had to meet
Okay,
my mom,
please,
you'd
yeah.
see me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No girls in the family?
I'm the girl. Yes,
You the girl.
Oh, you are.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've
You
been the middle child, so I was forced from a very young age to
Pressure,
be independent. You know, the pressure of, oh, my firstborn, you know, because my mom
Yeah.
had my older brother when she was like, 16?
Oh, yeah.
And
she was
then
so
my
young.
little brother was pressure would say, oh, you've got boys, now you need to get a girl.
And it
And
wasn't.
then unfortunately my little brother came along, you know. You probably know my little brother. Yeah, I did that in there, my
Man.
CJ. What do you call him? Keys. CJ Keys. Or
Oh!
yeah. That's my baby brother.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
I don't know.
He likes music.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
He's
He's
a
a
DJ.
DJ. Yeah, he's in his
Hayi
different
mani,
music.
akusuke ukuthi ngathi wasebenza na Oscar.
Yeah, that's him. He's
Yeah.
done a lot of production. He's working with a lot of production.
Yeah, I
right
heard
now.
someone like
Yung
Kahizo
boy
told me
na
something like that.
Oh, man, shut up.
Yeah, I heard Kahizo
You know
was
what? The family is blessed, man.
Yeah, they said,
Yeah.
The family is blessed.
I know we need your brother. Sorry, you need.
Wait, my brother, he doesn't live here though.
Oh, he doesn't live here. Hello.
Wait, how is he gonna chase his dreams here?
Oh,
He's gone
no.
now. He's gone now.
You don't chase your
Yeah,
dreams
yeah,
in
It's not
Nelspruit.
straight
One of the
now.
first things I
Yeah.
said to him when he was done with the trick, I said to him, whatever you do, don't stay here.
CJ.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard about it.
Let me show you a picture of him. I like one of the first things
It's
that
C black, ne?
he
Oh,
did.
also, it's not C black.
No,
CJ.
Keys.
Oh, Keys.
CJ Keys.
Oh,
Yeah.
CJ Keys. Oh.
Yeah, like
I used
one of
to
the
have-
first things I said to him when he was done with matric, I said to him, in order for your dreams not to die,
Yeah.
you need to leave this place.
Ne?
Because with everything that
Okay, when I happen.
with everything that I've done in my career,
Yeah.
Oh.
with everything that I've done within my career and everything that I've done,
Yeah.
I could never have achieved it if I was here.
Ne?
Shout out to him, man. Shout out for that. Shout out to for those advice. You know, it's very rare to find people in your own house who tell you the honest truth.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, I want my brothers to
win.
to win because the thing is, who knows? We see
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? And I mean, if he stayed here long enough, I feel like his dreams would have drowned, and then he would have probably had to go and find a job of which he wouldn't have been happy. You know?
Yeah.
And for me, his happiness matters more than him just finding a job just to sustain. Because then the next thing, he's got kids, he's sitting here, he's got a miserable life, nothing is
Like
planned
everybody,
out.
like everyone in the hood, bro.
What do you say about niggas? What do you want to say about us here, niggas?
bro. There's no progress.
The problem is,
What can I say about you guys? I mean, I don't want to say horrible things,
Yeah.
but like, I don't see a lot of movement that encourages younger people to be able to become themselves.
That's true.
I don't see a lot of movement in terms of progression.
There's no progress.
You know, I don't see people trying to make my initiatives, my programs where you guys can learn, where you guys can make money. Like for instance, even yesterday I was just watching one of my favorite influencers.
Who's that one?
Her name is Talitha Jones.
Okay.
Right? She's now going through a spiritual journey.
Okay.
Might not be for everyone. However, they have this thing. It's not about her. It's just like the specific thing that I saw there. You know?
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, imagine how nice it would be to have Inzao like last Tolly Park Day one, right? And Leo Park winning my vendor. Because everybody has a talent, everybody's doing something, you know. Unemuntu abeke stall sakhe, and then siyafika lapha siba nebantu abadlala music, maybe a stage somewhere, and then we just chill, we dance, listen to music.
Buy whatever you need to buy. Yeah, support each other, man.
Yeah, you know, every weekend it happens. We just
Yeah.
get to the park, say, I go see vibes at the park.
It's at the park.
You know, we just go to
Wow,
vibes at the
that's
park,
actually
say,
a
I
good
go see,
idea.
we're chilling
Yeah, it
there.
is.
You know, maybe that could be something of yours in your podcast thing. You know?
You know what I mean?
Meeting new people.
Yeah, vibes at the park, and then obviously you have like a live
Yeah,
situation.
yeah,
You know,
it's
because you can
recorded.
do lives with YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube,
You
yeah.
know,
Then
have
everybody
like
can
your-
see
yes.
and want to be part of.
Exactly, and then everybody comes with their business, whatever it is that they're doing, whether it's alcohol, whatever.
Whatever,
When
man.
it's done, niachila,
Yeah, that's so
niapuza, niajaiva, we get to know each other, you know.
Yeah.
Ingaphelana, it doesn't even need, it could be a family thing,
Yeah.
you know.
That's so true.
So I feel like if we focused on things like that, if the youth was able to, I don't know, maybe get funding, maybe be highlighted in a way with bad, it's okay, possibilities like this are there, you know, because now if we were to do things like that, do you not think entrepreneurship would like grow?
100%.
You know, because now it gives you
100%.
like a little spotlight. You can even rent that place, maybe
Yeah.
100 rand,
Yeah.
stall sakho lapho, so that you have something that you're looking forward to,
And
something that you want to do.
And imagine if it's gonna be a every weekend thing, then that person can work every day now. You know, they can open every day.
And we're supporting you.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly, because
And-
it's in demand.
Yes, you're in demand because the thing is, ulapho vele ngifuna amagunya, lawa amagunya senze
Now, of
amagunya.
course, yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe ngkhona kavuda amagunya.
Yeah.
I'm not fancy like every other person who want croissants.
Take it to France.
You know? You know, if you do have a talent to be able to make sushi, why not?
Why not?
You know,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's
introduce-
because I mean, to be quite honest, baningi bantu la elokishini labangakhoni kuhamba baye town behlala phasi, have a glass of wine, have sushi. You bring the experience to them.
Yeah.
And it's growing, and it's literally it's growing the Casio economy. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? We are growing as
And
as
now,
we wish.
and now, if you know that there's a possibility for me to be able to get like a more like stand khona lapha,
Yeah.
then what's stopping you from being able to think about, oh,
That's
you know, ukuthi ngihambe ngoganga, this is an opportunity
I
for
can
me.
do that, yeah.
I wish could take about someone's name and take my dream.
No, but I guess
Do you
the
want-
thing is, you
do you
guys
want
need
it?
to that initiative has to start with you.
Yeah.
You know what
That's
I mean?
so
Like
true.
I said,
Yeah,
it's,
that's true.
it's generally something that you guys can do because I mean, I feel like you already have a reach, like Lokshin. So if you ever had to do this type of thing, do you not think it would get some sort of traction?
Yeah.
Uthola bomlungisi,
Yeah.
nisebenze nabo,
Yeah.
whoever, like my business
Yeah.
owners, you get those people to work with. You
Yeah.
can, you know, it doesn't need to be a sponsored event.
No,
You-
we
you-
just need
you
I need
write
the
a letter
place.
to the municipality,
And we ask
they
them.
give you a specific place,
Yeah.
and then you just figure out how you know a lot of the local DJs. A lot of people want to be exposed, and your platform
Having
will
a sound
help people to
system.
expose. You know what I mean? If you have a sound system, you go, you
There.
phakathi endodeni
Yeah.
laphana, you don't need to have like a fancy stage. Ngabe kantafule, ngibeke
It's just vibes.
Just vibes.
Just vibes.
It's just for the community.
And it's
vibes.
and it's vibe that everybody benefits.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
You know, people come there, they park their cars, my car wash,
chill.
buying that my car wash.
Bawashikawa,
laphana.
Bawashat Moto
You get
Lapayana,
it?
we eating there. There's makeup
Also,
being
you
done
need
by
a
someone
man.
else, Lapayana. There's paintings you can buy.
For the kids,
For
you
the
also bring kids, you know, because
there's
also we
jumping
want,
castles.
we also, I feel like it's also important because a lot of people have kids anyway,
Bruh.
so why not bring that experience to the children, you know?
Right.
Because not everyone's going to be able to afford 350 let's say
Yeah.
boss,
Yeah,
plus
yeah.
transport and food and
And-
everything
Yeah.
to take
And
their
and the
kids.
guys like why cancel lona issue yi bana banyama ne?
Yeah,
No, no,
the actual thing. What was it called again?
Angathi,
Eshowe.
Khula Salusi, Eshowe.
But it's no longer there, but it's in the structure above.
Hey, brother, that was
No, no,
lit.
no.
Yeah, and it's an experience. I mean, you still
Yeah,
live
100.
around.
Yeah, that was lit.
So if you can do half of that for the community and the people around you, why not?
100%.
So you don't need someone like me to come and have an idea. You can take it upon yourselves to have that idea and take it from there and run with it.
So you need to show your ideas to people.
I mean,
Yeah.
I-
That's an idea, brother, what you're talking about.
it is an idea, but like I'm saying, anyone can do it. I
Yeah,
haven't
anyone.
That's the
trained
thing.
anyone.
You
Yeah.
see, yeah, that's the thing. Anyone can do it.
Now we're talking about it.
You
and
know,
then anyone
there's
can take it
people
from-
are
yeah.
like, ah,
Yeah,
yes.
it's an idea.
United.
Anyone can do it anyway.
Yeah.
You know, and the thing is, generally, we're a generation that thrives on vibes.
Yeah.
100%.
So why not?
100%.
Why not bring the vibes to the people? No
Yeah.
one's gonna say no if you do something like that. The social market, in farmers market.
Yeah, it's far.
It's a little
yeah,
bit
yeah,
far.
yeah, it's far.
If you say Lokshini, then it's really not for us.
Yeah.
You know, we'll go there because obviously
We want the vibes.
yeah, but then the thing is, you're compromising so much because now you need to make sure you have transport, adequate transport that will take you
You know-
specifically to that place. You know,
Yeah,
the alcohol is a little bit overpriced. Of which I'm not saying it is too overpriced, but the thing is, obviously, the venue has to
everybody
be taken care of, but not everybody will be
can
able to
afford.
afford it. So if you bring something like that to the location, and like I'm saying, ikubukisa the entrepreneurship with like the younger people, so that they get to know that I can actually make money without actually having to do
go far away.
or
You can
or hurt someone. You know?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So those are things that literally can happen every other week.
But you know, like you guys, we love spinning. They love spinning.
That's good.
Like,
Oh,
yeah,
that's
that's
good.
Because
Yeah.
Wood Bank they do something like that. Wood Bank almost every month, every week. I don't know which vendors but they used to do
You
it.
can even do it every second week, because like I'm saying, I can see that maybe the aim would be, because we're trying to empower the youth.
Yes.
So let's do something that they are not just looking forward to every month,
Yeah.
but maybe every other second week.
Yeah.
Because now at least you have that opportunity. Because makhaya maningi langa yendi imali, you know,
Yeah,
I'm banning balambili.
Yeah.
So that would be an opportunity for someone in Kago Bogusa
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because at least they're doing it every other week. And like I'm saying, we don't have to go Instagram on it. We can go TikTok on it.
Yeah.
Where it's not aesthetically inclined.
Yeah.
And it's just something that's like allowing you to make a desk and that's just always, you know,
And that's free, bro. That's free.
That's free.
That's free. You don't even
You
need
know?
a key. You can just.
Exactly.
It's
you know,
free.
it's like literally just that. Like if I'm able to say, maybe I'll do my Kia corner, you know, or maybe
Yeah.
for this space, maybe I'm 50 rand.
50
you know,
rands,
So
yeah,
that
for the
you guys,
particular
whatever,
thing.
who's doing the production of everything,
Yeah.
will be able to sustain it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's a win-win situation for every single person who's there. Not in that opportunity to see Nikon promoter, whatever it is that you're doing apart from the podcast.
Yeah, because hey, very young in the things it needs promo. If you're not promoting anything,
And how are you promoting when you don't have reach? Because the thing is, this you can like this will be great, but you only have a specific reach. You know, like I said, even when I said with my YouTube, it's long form content, and not everybody has
in
time
for
to sit
that,
down
yeah.
and watch a vlog for an hour.
That's
You
true.
know, and not everyone is for TikTok. You know,
that's
and it's let's be honest, not everyone is about social media.
Louis,
So in promotion, I was even talking to a friend of mine who's in Nigeria, Atiena. He wants to do like a little show, hand out my flyers, and I said it's very important to do things like that because we're always targeting social media, but sometimes people that have our reach on social media, not even that they don't see, they may be far from us.
Yeah.
So you
That's
also need to
true.
garner a market
That's
where
true.
you are.
Around, yeah.
So that could be a way for you to garner a market where you are.
Yeah.
And if you guys want subscribers, you want followers, what better way to do it than
That's
something
exactly
like
what I was
that
saying.
over the park?
Yeah. That's exactly what I was saying yesterday. Yeah, Guti, you
'Cause-
find Guti, whoever is watching is not from here.
No.
They don't know these people we talk to. So how about we record somewhere, a park
in
where
the public space.
Yeah.
Everyone is there.
Yeah, and then
You know
they
what I
see
mean?
like, okay, what's going on there?
Yeah.
And then we
like
tell
I'm
them, no,
saying,
this is a
it's a no pressure situation, you know.
100%, yeah.
You have multiple businesses promoting themselves.
Yeah.
It's basically a shout out to everyone.
To everyone.
And now it's not led by
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's open to everyone.
I know, do it soon. This coming month you can do
You
something
know,
like that.
and the
need to
thing
find
is, you
someone,
don't have to have a whole festival because
Yeah.
that's pressure.
Yeah.
Just like small businesses, approach the people around you.
Yeah.
Those are your currency.
Yeah.
Your connections are your currency.
Yeah,
You know?
100%. That's true.
And
That's
opening up to people, knowing
Knowing people
That's your currency.
can open a lot of those. But talking about YouTube.
yeah.
So my little cousins, right? My little cousins, I see them all the time, especially in Magic Look for it. God, bruh, smart TVs. They are there. They're watching. I didn't know this were vlogs. I literally didn't know, but I know there's these kids in America, and they literally go around streaming with it, just recording their lives, normal lives, having fun. And I'm like, friends, what are you guys watching? What happened to Pugelabo, Motakalani, Mopap? And I'm like, what are you guys watching? No, this is who they know them by names. They know what the yeah. And I'm like, wow. I was so fascinated. And then I'm like, okay, let me check this vlog things out. I forgot the name of the woman that I checked
Yeah.
on YouTube. Bruh, I was blown away. Faith, you know how nice does it feel to have a life? Like you have a life, right? But then the faculty, you can watch another person's life doing their things. It's so refreshing.
Yeah, it is.
It's so refreshing. She's doing her business there. Let's go by how it is.
Grace, I love
Grace
her.
Maria.
I
Yeah.
love her. Yo.
How did you begin that journey of
YouTube.
being in the limelight? Because let's be honest.
I'm not in the limelight.
Let's be honest.
Not in the limelight.
How did that start?
So basically, what happened? I started like I gained a love for YouTube.
Yeah.
I think around COVID times.
Oh,
Yeah, because
lockdown.
I was looking for authentic content.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not. I've had a very busy life at certain points of time. Like you said, I can't sit down, I will not work. You know. So generally, for a person like that, it's like I'm moving on from here to here. So you hardly find me watching TV and actually enjoying something.
There's
You know.
no time for that.
Yeah. And I would want to watch people that I could relate to.
Yeah.
Someone is probably going through a phase
That you go
of life that I'm probably facing or undergoing, uncertainty, even just documenting anything. It doesn't need to be a lot. It doesn't need to be fancy. You know?
Which sorry to cut you, which I feel like is very important, especially for us as black people, because we don't document anything.
No.
It's only now, thanks to social media, where we get, to document things and talk about things that affect us or things that we go through and stuff. But back in the days, bruh,
we couldn't. You know, honestly, the thing is, you must remember, it's also information. If you are going to be able to find that information, like I said, even with this idea that we were just talking now, about now.
Yeah.
See, it's just the lack of information, and obviously where you are, you're probably not surrounded by people who have that information.
That information,
You know?
they don't know
And
this thing.
you don't know these things, and people make money out of these things. People like have changed their lives with social media. You know what I mean?
But getting paid just for being you.
Yeah, just having a daily online diary. That's basically what I would call it.
Yeah.
And I started documenting my life. I wanted to get into the makeup space because obviously I'm a makeup artist first, you know. And I wanted to get into that space in that way. And I was not really comfortable with the camera.
Oh, at first, when you started?
I was really not comfortable with standing in front of a camera, talking, you know. I would be like, a lot, you know. You know, like using my filler words.
Yeah.
Confidence on like real life and on camera.
That's totally different,
you know, because you're talking to the screen, you're not really talking to a person. You are talking to people, but like in
you
general,
can't see them. The energy is not there, so you have to.
It's unlike when now we're conversing, and it's a flow of conversation. And we're going from one place to the next.
Yeah.
It's a literal place where you have to have some sort of context.
And I've at first, and sorry to say this, man, my grandmother, right? I've always, you find her sitting on her bed, and she's talking like she's going off. I'm not going to the floor, bitch. Simbuga. And I'm like, how Coco? Why are you talking to yourself? You know, I'm like, why? And I noticed it's only now, like you put her in front of camera. Ooh, she's the most bubbliest. She's so like, oh,
yeah.
So it's like you're preparing yourself, but unconsciously so.
Yes, you know. So with me, obviously at that time, like I'm saying, I tried to do the whole makeup thing at first, and it was very uncomfortable for me. You know, I'm not, because like I said earlier, I used to be extremely insecure. You know, and outside into the world, I wear a mask that allows me to be able to be strong. You know? Because obviously I can't fight with everyone. You know, I can't fight with people's objections. I can't fight with people's perceptions,
opinions.
So I have to carry myself in a light that says to a person, you can't touch me.
Can't touch, can't
tolerate. Half of the time it'd be a facade. But now when I'm facing myself, it's a
You
different
can't,
situation
yeah, you can't
altogether,
now.
you know?
It's you.
Because I now need, and I
God
think
down.
COVID was a very crucial time for a lot of us because it forced us to reflect and be with yourself and be comfortable with being with yourself.
Be with your family.
Yeah,
People
not
you
even
don't get
be with your
along
family.
with,
Like,
yeah.
I mean, in general, I love my family. I get along with my family. We
Yeah.
have nice conversations. We grow each other. You know, we
Yeah.
can vent. We can. You know.
Like life.
That's natural.
You
Like
know, but
life.
like it was a time where now I have no, because if you know me, you'll know that I've always been surrounded by a bunch of people.
Yeah.
I've always had friends, you know. When I came back to Nelspruit, I wanted to have a little community of gay people around
Yeah.
me because that's what I knew around when I was in Joburg. Because also another thing, one thing that another friend of mine, a gay friend of mine, said one time, he once said to me, it's very important for gay men to be able to surround themselves with other gay men so that you can have a community that doesn't look at you the same way as women would. Because we're genuinely always friends with women, and women cannot tell the difference between me as a guy and being gay and what she thinks I should be like.
Oh yeah.
You know what I
So
mean?
she looks at you as
A girl.
yeah, he wants to be me.
No. Okay, some of them do think so, you know?
Yeah.
But in general, not every gay person
Wants
hence
to be
the whole pronoun thing wants to be a girl. I'm just
This is
I'm just more feminine.
Yeah.
You know, my feminine divine has taken more power over my
Yeah,
body, you know,
yeah,
over my
yeah,
masculinity.
yeah.
But it doesn't mean I want to be a girl.
no.
You know,
yeah,
I'm just
100%
gay.
just gay.
And that's just what it is. It doesn't mean I want to be a girl.
Shout out.
You know?
Shout out.
And maybe those are teachable moments that I feel like people need to learn. We see not every person in the alphabet gang wants to be a girl, and even the ones that I don't even think that's the appropriate term of having to say want to be, because you are born in a body that you don't feel like you identify with, you know. And I can sympathize with that even if I don't understand it. And I feel like it's time we start having open conversations about things like that, because you look at a person and you're assuming that they want your life and they don't. They want their own lives, you know, but they want them in a specific way, you know. And I think it's time for straight people to start understanding. We'll see. We don't envy you. We're okay with who we are. You know, we're not even trying to as phone no in this exit. We're okay with who we are. We just want to live freely like you do.
Yeah.
Because you live a life without any judgment. Nobody cares now or not. I have to wear a suit of armor. And don't you think that's exhausting?
That's tiring.
It's exhausting.
That is tiring.
Because every single day I need to put on an act, you know. I don't want to be chomy. I'm not your friend. And I'm
That's
definitely
You get this,
Yeah.
those chummy thing.
yeah, but the thing is, with me, it depends on my mood. If I'm feeling extremely bitchy,
Coming for you.
Not even and then when my face will tell you a lot. And sometimes you'll think I'm not a nice person. I'm not a nice person if you don't approach me in the best way.
100%.
Yeah, I'm not a nice person
You get what you get.
at all if you come with that energy. Don't try to act like you know me. It's better to come to me as who you are, you know. If you want, even if you want to ask me my pronoun, I will not take offense. If you want to ask me gay people things, honey, we can even talk about sex. I have no issues. Not my sexual preference. I'm not going to tell you about my sexual life. However, I'm going to highlight how sexual intricacies are with gay people. You know what I mean? And I'm okay with doing that because I'm okay with teaching people so that the generation after mine can live a better life than I have.
You don't have to explain.
Yes, because now I've gone through those struggles so that they don't have to.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, and I'm not Mother Teresa, but it's easier for me to be able to shine a light so that someone else can live a better life.
Shut
you know,
up, man.
It's much better that way.
Shut up, man.
I know. So I live in teachable moments. I have no problems with questions. You know? But I feel like the best way to approach a person is to try and figure out where they are so that you can meet them at their own level. Don't come here to me and you show me I will cut you down a size.
And you know when you grow up sometimes, because that thing of undermining the way judge as you say, chum, you understand? So that's a problem.
It is a problem because at the end of the day, also, I mean, we're older now. You can't rely on what you learned.
Yeah.
You need to discern the
Yeah.
difference between what you were taught and what you know.
Yeah.
You know, and we're living in a very progressive world. And when I was
We have to progress.
you know, and in general in life, I mean, you see these people living certain lives on TV and everywhere else, and you aspire to be like these people.
Yeah.
But mentally, you also need to get yourself real. You know, it's important to put in your track, you know. So open yourself up to being able to learn, even if you're not comfortable with things. Because I get a lot of people who will say, yeah, I'm not going to make it just as long as I'm so. Girl, who said we want you? Don't anybody want your ass? You probably don't want your hard. I mean, you've seen how hard gay people work.
Bruh!
You guys, you work
Hence
very
why-
hard.
hence why-
most gays are successful guys.
Yes, hence why, because we don't have a choice. Our success is the only thing that gets us out of situations like Shali Lokshi.
Yeah.
Where you can run somewhere
And then you
you
move
can
to-
live a normal life.
Yeah,
Where
with
you are
progressive
just
people.
a person and you are not Lekeilea. You say one. Or
That's so wrong though. Yeah, that's
or
so wrong.
Lekeilea
Bro.
Lenjan. You know what
Yeah,
I
that's
mean?
so-
Because now you can be Ngosana. Do.
Yeah, that's literally.
But I'm meaning him Lekeilea.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I
That's
mean?
not fair.
Like it's like there's always a tag.
Yeah.
I'm attached
Yeah,
to
yeah.
tags. There's always
That's not
labels.
fair.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And like unfortunately that's what gay people have to deal with every single day.
Yeah.
And there's no way you're gonna be gay and not be strong.
No.
Especially when you're out of the closet.
Yeah, because
Nah.
You have no other way but to be strong because your strength is going to be the only thing that's going to carry you. Otherwise you don't even land.
Bruh, I had to ask that because you guys are
Can we say
being
things like
bad.
that?
Sorry?
Can you say things like that?
Say what? Bulan. Oh.
No, there's
Yeah, you
sense
can,
there's
yeah.
certain things that you can't say on YouTube.
Yeah, yeah. But you guys are always attacked. I've
Yeah.
noticed there's always, and it's not just Elukshini. It could be anyway. Industries, fields, I wanna YouTube, social media, but there's always, and I've never seen the alphabet gang. I wouldn't say fighting back, but I've never seen them breaking down
Can't.
in front of people. I've never seen that, bruh.
You can't. For
That's one.
instance, at the end of the day, I'll go back to the whole pronoun thing. You know,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, as much as I'm gay, I'm a man, and that will take its course when it needs to.
Yeah.
And it might not, my masculinity might not come in the form that you are expecting it to
Yes,
come in,
yeah.
but my pride will not allow me to break down in front of people because now you've won over me and I've already given you precedence and power. You know what I mean? So for me, like I wear headphones all the time. People sometimes think I'm being rude. I can't hear you because I'm
Okay,
genuinely
noise.
not trying to hear
Yeah.
people. You know what I mean? If I want to have a conversation with you, great. If you're my friend and I see you and I don't see you,
Yeah.
if you're generally a person who's nice to me and everything, but the thing is, I can't control how people feel all the time.
You can't.
But I can control what I take
How
in.
you thank you.
You know,
Thank
and for
you.
me it's a protective measure so that when people start buying me that I'm then I'm over because now that's going to ruin my day
That happens.
all the time. There's nary a time where I'll leave my house and people won't try and say things.
Yeah.
Like
Even
in this
namanje,
day
njengoba
and age.
bengime lapha nje bangichamula, I'm waiting there, I'm waiting for a taxi, and there's like a bunch of guys in like a double cab by Andrew, and lama scrubs and I move. And I couldn't even hear what they were saying because I'm wearing headphones.
Yeah.
But like the one even comes out and he's like screaming something, but
You couldn't
it could have
hear.
been profanity, it could have been anything,
Yeah.
you know. But I couldn't hear because the thing is I've got my protective measures. But then now understanding the fact that I genuinely can't live without my headphones,
Yeah.
it's not a good thing.
That's not healthy.
It's not healthy.
That is not
But
healthy.
unfortunately, that's the skill
But
that you need to
yeah,
grow.
for your
my
own
side.
mentality, yeah, you need to.
Yeah.
You see the last week topic,
Mental health,
mental,
yeah,
mental
yeah,
health.
yeah.
We wanna talk about mental health the last week, but you couldn't see. We got a lot of things to talk about when we started shooting.
Yeah, because the conversation starts flowing.
Yeah,
around,
yeah.
It goes
But I wanna-
all around.
I want to go back to the careers, things you've done. 'Cause,
Yeah.
bro, you came here. I'm like, man, I know him. That's Casio Black, you know? But I haven't, like you said, I know of you, I
But you
don't
don't
know
know
him.
me.
You understand? So I'm like, yeah, I know him from somewhere. So and so forth and on, and then we didn't do our research.
At all. They did not do their
We
research.
didn't do our research, guys.
Them, not me.
How many-
Anybody get the task?
Jan, go on.
How many-
But I did give them
Guys.
task. I did give them the task.
I myself, I humbly apologize for
Yeah.
not doing research. I'm so sorry.
It's
I
alright.
But we're learning every
I
day.
should
Yeah,
have.
it's a learning
Okay? Because when I did now, I'm like, damn,
Mom was like,
my brother, he's a celebrity, this one.
wow.
This one, my brother needs to be celebrated.
Yeah. Which one?
How did you, I don't want to, not now, but how did you get there? How did you put yourself? How did you put yourself?
I know where are you again?
Dog.
Where are you?
Okay, so let me,
Yeah,
to
yeah,
mention
yeah,
a few.
yeah.
You have a YouTube channel, you do vlogs,
Yeah.
right? I saw L'Oreal there. I'm thinking, okay, that means he works with L'Oreal. I saw Mac, not MacGyver, not McHugh, not that one. M.A.C. That one, that's a what you call it? Cosmetic brand.
Yeah.
You know,
An
I-
international.
international, my brother, international, my brother. You know, I'm like, I saw Matosa, David Klein. I'm like, no man, guys, asiko fair. We need rose petals. We need candles. We need champagne.
Yeah, that's a little bit excessive, but okay. I mean, a simple juice would have done.
Bro,
Sorry.
how did you get? Because obviously you from Joburg,
Well,
Half.
born in Joburg.
Born in
raised
Joburg.
here mostly.
raised here, you
Yeah.
know, and multi here you've been Elushini. Ikas. Understand? And funny enough, right now, the recorder, Ikas.
Yeah.
Elushini. This person has worked with international stars, international brands. Work with them, partner with them. They can hit him up, my brother. Like, yo, can you please do this for us? This is what you need. You know, it's from Umundu Lokuma Eloshini. For us, right? That's far fetched. We look at even the kids. Oh, that's impossible because we don't have we have a lot of beautiful mountains. You understand? We don't have the
Keeping us
skyscrapers. We don't have the skyscrapers, so we don't see what's happening. So we think everything needs. Hence why you told your brother, Lucy, when you're done, in order to get your career started, don't stick around. Go find yourself.
Yeah.
You understand? How did you get yourself in that position where brands like this can talk to you?
I put myself out there. Sorry. I put myself out there, and that's what I said about gay people. We have to generally always garner a lot of strength in life to
Yeah.
be able to get anything, you know. And we will always position ourselves in places where we can get those things. Obviously, not everybody, you know.
Yeah.
And with that being said, I'm not going to act as if I didn't have certain privileges, you know, because my parents really worked really hard.
Yeah.
To put me in the schools that I went to,
Okay.
so that I was able to meet certain people. Because sometimes we don't understand, we see a relationship.
Yeah, we take them for granted.
Yeah, we take relationships for granted. Like I can make an example of one of the jobs that I did. I worked with Glamour magazine. We shot a cover with a couple of influencers for Dove. Right?
Check.
And how that happened was I had just gotten back to Joburg because I mean there was a time where I was here, I was selling accessories. I had like a whole accessory page on
Okay.
Instagram. I was a makeup artist. However, that was just after COVID, and obviously things were not that
Yeah,
great.
things were closed, yeah.
Yeah, and just before COVID, I lost a lot of things. I lost my job. I lost so much, you know, even the numbers that I was using. So then, so then I like a lot of people didn't have access to me, like even my old clients. So then I lost all of those people. Unfortunately,
They can't find you.
yeah, and those people would tell them that I'm no longer here, even
Yeah.
though they knew that I was here.
Way
Yeah, so now that well had drained down for me. I wasn't really getting any jobs. I had to decrease my prices in order to be able to
just to
survive,
sell some, yeah.
you know. And then I looked at my life and I was just like, yo, like I'm just standing still now. There's nothing happening, you know.
Yeah, that's not you.
That's not me.
That's not you.
You know. So I was like, okay, let me just go to Joburg. My friend had started a position. He was the national artist for a certain brand, you know. And then he said to me, since well you've been doing social media strategies and everything, is it possible for you to help me with my page? And then I'll help you with like work, you know, so you can get like clients. And in Joburg it's great because we charge like 1,000 plus for like makeup, you know. So I was like, okay, perfect. It makes sense, I'm gonna come through. However, like living with a friend is not like ideal for me because relationship,
space,
not even just the space. Like if you respect people enough and you love your friends enough, you don't want to ruin the relationships that you have. You know, like I said, people are your currency sometimes, you know. And then I moved to Joburg. I helped him strategize his social media. You know, we took him from 7,000 to like 47. It was at 47K now. And then I started obviously taking upon my clients that side. And I remember one friend that I had, she worked for EDAV, you know. So one day she calls me, she's like, oh babe, how much is your makeup? And I said to her, oh, I charge X amount. And then she said to me, oh, I can't afford you. I was like, it's fine, I haven't seen you since college days. Come through so I can see you, you know. Do the makeup, have a cute conversation. I'd really love to see you, you know. And it probably had been like 5, 6 or even longer years since I'd seen her. So she comes through, we do the makeup, she loves it. Cute conversations. Very fulfilled because I mean an old friend.
It's an old friend, yeah. There's a lot to catch up on.
A week later, she calls me. She's like, "Babe, we're looking for a makeup artist because I like how your makeup is. You know, it's very natural. Is it possible for you to come through and then we can but in like its own hotel? This is what we're doing. Wada. Then she told me how to coach. This is like perfect. Sent her the quotation. Following week, I'm shooting with Tupsi, Dumi Powerhouse. Butlale, one of the former Miss South Africas, and who else? I remember there was someone else. I don't remember who it was specifically, but she's a mommy content creator. Like influencers.
Yeah.
Got there, did the shoot, successful, extremely happy, and then that's how I started working with them. From working with just Dav alone, I started working with Unilever, but I wasn't just working with Unilever. I'm working with like the bosses, you know.
So big boys
yeah, because now these are the people that you need to impress.
Yeah. You got them, you get them in your pocket.
Exactly, because every single time they like around, they want to do makeup. I'm just like, I'm here. You know? Yeah, and then one of my other friends, who is a makeup artist, would ask me to stand in for her. Then I started doing Netbank. I would do like, you know, like my presentation,
the adverts.
Yeah, I'll do things like that behind the scenes. And then that friend of mine who's an international thingy didn't have like support in terms of makeup artists. And then I would help him out when he was doing a lot of shoots. Working with a lot of people. And that's how I went into, started doing fashion weeks. You know, my first fashion week was working with Makosa. I think it was season 23, if I'm not mistaken.
That's you being a makeup artist?
That's me being a makeup artist.
For the whole entire team?
With the team. Working with the team.
The models and stuff?
Yeah, and the models, we had to do about 81 models.
Bloody hell!
Yeah, so we started working with Makosa from that year.
Shout out!
And I did the second show again. Which is also in Joburg. So the first one I think was at Sculpture Park in New Rocks.
Yeah.
Sculpture Park, Kruger Store. Yeah, that was my first show. The second one we did at the Val. You'll be able to see these things if you go on my social media platforms. And then I started doing Fashion Week, obviously. Patricia Matipe's AFI.
I know you're just dropping names.
I know you're dropping
balls.
balls.
Now.
I can see this is my journey going into the whole thing.
No, no,
Yeah,
you can
100%,
I was with
yeah.
Cyril Ramaphosa,
Yeah.
some other
Bro, I'm telling you, this person is celebrated, bro.
Before my dear passed away, I was with him. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Clock
Continue.
Shout
Yeah,
out,
and then,
bro.
you know, it just opened a lot of doors. Then obviously now you're working with Women South Africa. We did Leanne. I had the opportunity to work with Ingracia, who is one of the former Miss Ghana.
Yeah.
Like I said, Fashion Week, I would meet a lot of models. We'd become very close friends. You know, some of them I'm still in contact with till today.
Yeah, shout out.
Yeah, some of those things. What else did I do?
Build
Like I've
dishes,
even
bro.
done tummy dishes. The gay choir. Called the gay choir. I don't even remember. Don't cancel me. Yeah, I did one of his shows. I think then that's when I even had to do like the grades, like tomorrow day.
Holy
you know,
moly.
That's when I met Buhle Wendalo. She's so amazing, one of my favorite people in the world. What's his name again?
Langa.
Langa Mavuso,
God, Lord.
extremely funny, very nice, Yeah, so basically just like partner with some of these brands. Sometimes it's just like makeup artists because you obviously have to have some sort of a network.
Yeah,
If you're not
yeah.
able to work because obviously now you have built a clientele. If that
Yeah.
person's not able to find you, you need to find them someone who's reliable.
Yeah.
And some people would call me up and be like, hey, listen, we're doing a show. We need to do this and this and this. And when I come in as a collaborator, I never come in as anything besides being a collaborator, because I don't work for anyone.
You work for yourself?
Yes. So then that's how I even ended up working with L'Oreal. We did a fashion show. I think.
With L'Oreal?
Yeah, L'Oreal.
You guys know L'Oreal?
L'Oreal
I mean,
Paris.
L'Oreal, you guys don't know L'Oreal?
Guys, all the names that
was part of L'Oreal.
I'm very.
You need to do your research. It's fine, one day.
Yeah, like, no, but like for real, we're not the same.
Yeah.
Nah, man, shout out.
You enjoyed like doing your job.
I enjoy it. There's nothing more liberating than doing something that you
That
actually
you love. Yeah, man.
and something that you put in so much energy, power, and like learned so much behind it. Because everything I do, I put in a lot of research, behind it, so that I can, even if I can't say I'm the best at it, but I've done my best at it.
At it, yeah.
You
You've
know.
given yourself.
Yes, because when you get to that place, you're representing yourself, and that's why I'm saying it's very important to put yourself out there, because you don't know what opportunities you'll be able to garner.
And you know what's crazy? You are talking like this, we are sitting here, and if you tell like a 14-year-old, they'll be like, nah. They'll be like they'll see and be like, okay, yes, I believe it, but what's that Oshini?
Look at him now.
I mean, you have no other reason to not believe me. I've got social proof.
You know what I mean?
And we're sitting here.
You know?
And if you ever had to go through my social media,
out,
then you'll be able to see those places, because I've documented most of this on my social media platforms.
Big up to you, yeah.
So just because you come from a disadvantaged background, it doesn't mean that's your defining factor. You know? Generally, I don't believe God put us on this world which is still God has plans for every single person, but it's also up to you to reach out to the stars to be able to get what you deserve.
So tell me, what does your father say now? Because now you're not a doctor.
Oh well. What's wrong with that? No, he's okay. I mean, I feel like generally parents want to know that you're happy and you're able to sustain. Because it could have been worse.
Hey, that's so true. That is so true.
Yeah.
Could have been worse.
Could have been worse. Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And I think in general, both my parents have always understood the power that I've had, even in times when I never really believed or saw it. Even now when I was writing my exams, my final on Friday, I was literally crying, because I cry all the time. There's no one that you will meet that cries more than I.
This past Friday?
Yeah, on Friday.
Exams
I told you I was writing. I'm doing an international course.
So, leave South Africa. Wanna leave South Africa?
Why not? Who said this is my zeal?
Reach for the stars.
Who says this is my zenith?
Ne?
Yeah, because I mean, if you look at it, I'll end up growing old and bitter.
And I said, so like the rest of the grannies.
So why you're crying? You're crying about
I
what?
cry about everything. I genuinely cry
No.
to
Tears of
be able to
joy.
relieve anything that happens, to alleviate any pain that I have.
Yeah.
When I'm happy, when I'm going through, it could be good or bad things.
Yeah.
When it's a transition, I cry.
Mm.
I do not think anything in
Guys, got something. It's like it was so sweet, but just something, guys. I mean, I'm not talking. You can like.
Guys, you guys don't have anything.
Ah, guys.
No, I mean, like, I was like, this person.
Oh, you can talk to Swati, man.
Uyambona ukuthi like la unathi record nathi.
In real time, bro. I can take like real time. Real time, bro.
My experiences
You
can
remember I
be.
told you ukuthi lo muntu lotanga I was like lo muntu lotanga lo
My experiences don't examine me from being a human.
True,
Yeah,
100%.
that's true. That's
I
true.
told them ukuthi lo muntu lotanga guys.
So they don't examine me from being a human. And you know, half of the time I genuinely am not a person who's out there in public. I don't go to specific places. I don't, like, a lot of people don't know me. Like I said, a lot of people know of me, but they
They don't know you, yeah.
because you can't point out what I've done. You don't know my career.
Yeah.
Possibly never even known who I've ever dated.
Yeah,
and
I
they could have
know.
been
Do you
possibly-
date?
I do, but generally not around here.
It's your private life.
Yeah, it is my private life, but like I would never date here.
What's wrong?
What's wrong? What's
Yeah.
not?
Before the interview started, we were talking about Cassie. So, hey.
Like, my whole thing is I don't want to seem as if I'm talking badly about people. You know?
yeah.
However, if I have to be honest, like, I'll always go back to this. I grew up extremely insecure, you know?
Oh yeah.
And for me to find my feet, it was really, really hard when you're living in a world that's colorist, that's homophobic, you know, that's so many things. And for instance, I used to have my cousins, they were all skinnier than me. I grew up thick my whole life. And this before this whole thick thing, it was a trend. You know, when Boslender was...
Oh, they were the thing, yeah.
Yeah,
I remember
you
those
know?
days, yeah. I remember those
Exactly.
days.
And I grew up feeling fat, even though I was never fat. You know what I mean?
How old are you at this point? Like when you were conscious of the way you look.
Very young, probably maybe 13, 14. Because
And like it was like you understood it.
I understood it because people pointed it out.
Ah,
A child never knows what's wrong with them
yeah,
until the people around them point it
and
out.
it's not really something wrong with them to
Exactly.
say.
You know, I remember one time I was with my cousins, and then this thing will always stick out to me because it's something that really broke me as a child, you know.
Oh, man.
And then that's how we were walking, we're going to the shops and everything, and then this guy says to me, "Here to Moby." And I'm like, "No."
To a child.
I was very young, you know what I mean? And mind you, I'm already living in a life that's not accepting of who I am.
Yeah.
So now Umubi is part of my identity, on top of being fat, you know, and all these other things, you know. And now you have to learn to grow out of that specific place and that dark place, and you need to find yourself, and you need to be okay with whatever you're insecure about, you know. And then that's where you start building from there, you know. And then my problem with dating here is that generally people here are in the closet, and I don't date after.
I
that.
wanna, yeah, man.
I
I wanna.
think those
I heard the
people-
guys. Let it silent puma every now and then. Hey. Bafana basiligas after 9. I'm like,
Well, I don't want to specifically say yeah. I'm just
nail
generalizing.
sprays,
People,
yeah,
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 Not
yeah.
just nail spray, a lot of
People.
places.
Nah.
After nine corner in general everywhere. That's why the term is
After.
coined and it
Yeah.
exists.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
But like in general, there's also the stigma where gay people have money. I got money for me, not for y'all.
Wait, so like they will date you because you got.
Yes, I mean obviously it's a financial transaction.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And look kuyafana nokuthi wena ujwayele umuntu wahamba umfakela tinto. Like you're not dating that person ujoyana lento. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I'm not going to keep a relationship financially just to keep it going. Then that person's really not for me.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
And also having traveled as much as I have, you need to also understand that I have had quality of relationships and building and knowing people. You know, when I started like actually dating, I knew ukuthi umfana kufuneka ngikhiphe out on a date.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I look very energy
No.
time.
Yes, play Netflix.
That's why even with women, I struggle to understand ukuthi umfati utsho kanjani nemuntu ukuthi you now have to ukuthi utehlise ungabi nema
Your things feel good and
yes, because at the end of the day, like I was even having conversations with a bunch of guys about it's not good delusional.
They say that.
The world around you has pressured you enough to understand that you don't deserve things that you actually do. Because if a man comes into your life, what is he bringing?
Yeah.
love.
What is this love?
What is love?
What is this love? What does it do for me?
What is love?
Oh, and because you know you want the material things.
No, it's not about material
Besides
things.
material things.
You must understand at the end of the day, I call women superpower. They have superpowers. I say this to women all the time.
Yeah.
I'm like, it saddens me when I see a woman who doesn't understand the amount of power that she has. You have the life. You have the power to bring life into this
Earth.
world.
100%.
You have the power to nurture. You know, you have the power to dictate how that child turns out. And it's unfortunate that you guys don't see it, because if you did, then you would always take your power back. Meaning, I'm sure if it wasn't for my mother, I wouldn't be where I am today.
Yes.
My mother has sacrificed. I've seen her break her back so that I could live, so that I could eat, so that I could put clothes on my back, you know? And my mother's, even though my mother's better than my father because she's had to sacrifice way more than he has to, you know? Even her body has to go through changes because she just had me.
Now she has to feel insecure because she doesn't look the way she did.
Yeah.
She still has to work harder to get that body back.
Exactly.
And the man just carry on with his life.
And he can just tap whenever, however, wherever
he wants.
You know what I mean? He now has the freedom of movement. She's stuck with me for the next 9 months.
Imagine.
You know what I mean? And for me, that's a power that a man can never garner.
Nah.
You know, and that's why I'm saying it saddens me when women don't understand the power that they have. And if you're going to have a man in your life, you know, bear his children, those are so many things that a woman is already contributing towards this thing, and then the person is just going to complain about taking me out for coffee.
Simple things.
And generally, there's things that I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about here.
Talk.
You know,
Speak your
however,
truth.
even if we have to come to sex, generally, I mean, you will have conjugal relationships with men, I mean with women, but one boy when as out and one chas yeah, I did this to her, I tapped him, I did it, you know, you know, but half of the time they did you, not the other way around.
Exactly,
You've
because
never seen a woman
What's exactly right?
my brother, let me tell you, my brother.
No, let's be honest.
My brother,
how
let
many
me tell
times
you.
as a man have you seen a woman climax? Because we see you happy. Something get to the point of happiness.
And you know what's crazy?
That's crazy.
There's even evidence to us.
And
climaxing. There's evidence.
Even if women hide it well, but you can't hide a woman's orgasm.
You can't. I know it's gonna.
It's extremely evident. So you're gonna go around bragging to all your guys, yeah, long I'm shining. Where?
Who shy away?
You should be ashamed.
You should be ashamed, actually.
Because she doesn't know pleasure from your side, but you're running around telling people that you've used her body.
That is true.
Because Nani, I mean, I don't know your situations, but if you've been with men, then if must come in on the table now, because we don't want people to shame you, you know? Because you're a woman, you'll always be shamed. But I'm just saying, 90% of the time, you'll probably be with men and you will never experience a climax. And that's quite sad. So for a person who's going to say you are looking for financial validation, so they don't want to give you anything, but they want to take so much from you. They want to use your body for pleasure, and they're going to give you absolutely nothing. Not even a freaking date, a Starbucks, which we now have.
Shout out to Starbucks, man. I saw that.
You know what I mean? And it's going to be such an issue just to take it out for coffee. And it's almost like you don't deserve these things.
The least you can do is compensate on this Starbucks thing, then.
I wouldn't use compensate, but like at least be able to make me feel appreciated.
Yeah.
Because if I'm a girl, I look shiny, it's going to be nice for you to at least or just shine a little bit of light, you know?
Yeah.
Take me out somewhere. I'm not asking for godly things.
My brother was being schooled.
We school every day, dog.
You know,
learn everything.
and that's why for me specifically, I could never date her because the culture here is ridiculous. You know,
True.
I love going out. If you know me, you'll know I love going out. I love nice things. I like going out for wine with my friends. Everybody knows. You know, you'll meet me sitting at Mediterranean with a glass of Sauvignon Blanc.
You see the two.
My favorite.
The 2,000
My
where
favorite.
they eat them. These 2Ks. 2,000.
No, but the thing is, I think it's
I'm
easy
sure
for
to say
them
that
to
maybe-
on the job. I wish I would see
I'm sure to say-
back on that figure because these children are not used to these things from Emakaya.
Yeah.
Sometimes it might not be reachable, but sometimes even the men that they meet. Baqala kufunza leti zinto kubantu abadala when they could be
Oh, yeah,
meeting
yeah,
these things
yeah,
kubantu
yeah,
that bad.
yeah, yeah,
You know, a glass of Sauvignon Blanc is probably like 112,
Yeah.
130 rand or whatever
Yeah.
a bottle.
Yeah, manje, we talk about ukuthi sikhulele elokishini, sometimes uyadivalela, you understand? You can spend hundreds and something rand to a menu yakale big mara bungahambe uyedobhisa
Mara ngithi that's the problem.
Because-
Because ngosana kuthi siyakule yahlale la sambe sothenga the big.
No, akho masavana bezomba.
You understand?
No,
And
so-
now when you
so
see
the
all these girls
restricted
living, yes, you
so
do,
the
you know,
restricted.
and when you see all these people living, you feel as if they're living beyond their means, and
Yes.
it's
And it's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not, you know,
It's
you
not.
possibly have that money even more. I mean, if you're gonna go up on my Hennessy is expensive.
It's expensive.
Even at the shops,
It's expensive.
you know.
Yeah.
And ngaleyo mali Hennessy,
You
when
can eat
umuntu
out.
wakho
You can eat out.
ningahamba niyohlala phasi eMediterranean, kuze kunaleya there's like this fish and chips meal.
Yeah.
Probably like 130, nale wine 130, nani spend 130 no-2. Bekudla kweni no-2. Nayibhodla le wine and maybe 50 rand or 40 rand with tip. How much is
We
that?
thought, bro, that's less than
Less
that's like five.
Less than 500 rand.
And that's a day.
Guys, I'm taking you anytime soon.
And that's a day, you know.
Yeah, it is,
And
yeah.
that girl will be able to appreciate that my man went through so much and
Yeah,
went so
man.
far
Yeah.
to give me something really cute, you know. It doesn't mean they must break their limbs so that I can live a specific type of life. And for me, it's not even that someone needs to take me out. I can take myself out anytime, any day.
Hey now.
You know.
Hey now.
I give myself the quality of life, and I can't be with a person who can't at least be able to meet me halfway. Go to the end of because now
Yeah.
you know, I'm not saying that's what I'm looking for, but I'm just saying, in that sense, it's something that I can do.
Yeah.
But when you'd rather take your money and spend it with your friends instead of spending your money with now,
Yeah.
you know, and having bonding sessions where we get to know each other and we thrive out of that whole situation, you know. And now I must know that you're always out with your friends and doing all those things. That's
And
not for me.
not what he's saying, eh? Like maybe we can take ourselves, maybe a bit easy.
Wow,
yourself.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
but we need to have that low thing. When we're shooting, we're shooting, eating, wherever it is. You understand?
That's also a way of
It's a marketing strategy also at the same
Yeah.
time.
Well, if they allow you to do
Yeah,
that,
if-
but
yeah.
like, I mean, if you obviously get
If
to
we
them
are.
and
But
say,
yeah,
"This
man,
is what
yeah,
we do,"
yeah,
and you
yeah.
ask for
Also
a
marketing the
specific
place,
session,
yeah,
you know?
at the same
Because I
time.
go there, even like I think my last vlog is like 7 minutes or something.
Isn't it?
In the Mediterranean.
Mm.
By
And
yourself?
eating.
Yourself.
No, I had like a little meeting there, and then my friend came
No.
through, and then we
Yeah,
had,
just
a
chill.
bottle of wine.
Yeah.
We chilled and we just like bantered about
Yeah.
nothing, you know.
Yeah.
But then that's what I'm saying.
Show me,
you see,
show me. That guy, hey, that thing.
That's what
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
You give yourself the quality of life. You put yourself out there.
Yeah,
nice things will
true,
come.
yeah. Yeah.
Bro, I want to know this, man. Alphabet community. I like that name.
Alphabet gang.
Yeah, Alphabet Gang. I like it. Alphabet. That's gangster. Alphabet Gang. So, do you recall the first time you noticed that this bar is not really, you know, or this is
Yeah.
not really who
We're
I
not
am?
living in the norm.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I do because I was lucky enough to have gay cousins, you know, that were.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So even though there was never like a definition of this is who you are
Yeah.
and everything. However, when it comes to stories like coming out, I never had to come out. I always tell people this. I'm like, it's so funny because what is coming out? What am I coming out?
That's
You
a
know?
different thing.
Yeah, I mean, and my father came into my room one time and he was just like, this is how you are, this is always how you've been, And
This is your dad telling
this is
you.
my father.
Telling you.
Yeah, my dad is very enlightened, you know.
Oh, shut up.
He was a Model C child.
Oh.
You know, he went to like boarding school, so
Yeah.
he's aware of things like this, you know.
Oh, shut up,
Even though
man.
he was what's that word that I'm looking for? He was oblivious to it, you know, because
Yeah.
sometimes you can see things from afar, but you never
But you
think they'll
don't.
be within your space, your circle, your whatever, you know. And by the time I think my mom maybe is the one who had time to almost like get into it and not, you know.
You know, and it's funny, we always think it's the other way around.
No. Because the thing is, I can see it's not always that. Because the thing is, I'll tell you for free, and this is not what I'm saying about my mom. I'm just getting into another
Yeah.
mistake. But like, women are more homophobic than men are.
Isn't
For
it?
real.
Extremely.
You?
They are. I can tell
I'm
you
not
that for free.
Sefunda.
But anyway, let's go back to the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
So my mom obviously ukhulele elokishini, she didn't have as much advantages as my dad did, because you know those are privileges that you get, you know, and that's why I even said earlier that I've had privileges because my parents had to break their backs so that I can understand the world in a different way. So my understanding is not of just where I am, but I'm able to reach out of where I specifically am, you know. And she struggled with it a bit, but then she started having gay friends, you know, just so that she could my mom, so that she could understand it better. Because I mean, obviously, as a parent, you need to put yourself through your child's like shoes, so that you can understand it a little bit better, especially if you don't come from that world, you know. And then she put herself there, and then when she did, she pointed it out to my dad, you know. And then my dad came to me and he was like, "Hey, dude, like, I see this is the life that you're living. This is how you've always been since you were a kid. And I want you to know that you cannot run anywhere, but just be here. We are your safe haven. And we love you the way you are." And, you know, and I'll always forever respect my dad because of that, because he could have been like any other man.
Be staunch and be like, hey, not.
Exactly. However, I am quite lucky to have two brothers. So the pressure
It's off you. It's
you
off
know,
you.
there's
Shut
no
up.
pressure because I've got an older brother, I've got a younger brother. They can be the people that bear the name. I don't have to carry anything, you know. So it's pambana so Sam.
But you wish to have a kid?
Not really, unless I meet a rich man.
You don't want to have babies.
No, why? Why must I have children?
That's right.
No, why? Why?
Yeah.
I love children, you know. No, sometimes I don't have babies. Because then they start getting annoying.
And then too, man, and that's like 90% of your time.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the thing is, obviously, I get to be a fun uncle, you know.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I'll be rich, like, beyond measure one day.
Yeah.
And I'll take all my nieces and nephews, you know, go shopping, we'll experience life, we'll do nice things. I'll be the fun uncle. I'll be the one that you can come and talk to, you know, when you have problems, when you can't talk to your mom or your dad. Yeah, you know, because I'll always remain young in heart. So I believe I'm that person. I'm okay with not having a family because why?
I hear you.
If I do decide to have a family, it's possibly because I'm going to have a partner that wants to go within those lines, you know. And obviously, we our things are planned, you know. We don't just like slip it in and then, hey, I'm pregnant. You know, we get to plan and like curate. We get to create the experience for ourselves, you know. And generally, because of the type of person that I am and what my parents have sacrificed for me, I don't believe my children deserve any less.
100% true.
They don't even deserve what I got. They deserve way more. You know, so I can only have children when I know, we'll see, maybe at the time in my life when I feel like I'm financially capable of doing it, because even in vitro is expensive. Getting a person to carry your child is expensive. I mean, at most you need a good clean milk.
And I remember seeing a story of what's his name? I think Mushenji.
Yeah,
and the surrogate was like, I want to be part of this baby's thing as well. That's my baby now.
That's the problem.
I'm like,
because
I had an agreement.
No, that doesn't matter. The problem is you must also remember this person is going through like a lot of changes and transitions, you know, and it's very difficult to have someone that you're close to, because now they'll always feel as if they're that person, those children's mother, even though you had to go and acquire the eggs yourself. And the semen is yours. You know what I mean? However, they were the incubator. They grew this child inside, so they have attachments, and you can't expect these people not to have an attachment.
True.
So for me to have a child, I'm not gonna go call one of my friends and be like, "Yo, let's have a kid." You know, I'm gonna have to make sure that I have enough money. A lot of my friends have actually offered, but I'm just like, I'm like, never. If I'm going to have a child, it needs to be with someone that's not going to be able to come in between me and my child.
Oh yeah, because your friends can.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're close.
Besides caring, I mean, if you're my friend, what I mean, even if now you piss me off, I'm not gonna be able to cut you off. I mean, you've sacrificed so much for me. You could have died.
Yeah. I heard what Kedi Kumalo went to Somizi with you about
What?
What Somizi? I'm gay.
I don't think that's possible. I mean,
You know social media, but it was
I
there.
mean, she already just had another kid now, so.
She's complaining about the one she had. Why would she want another one?
Do you understand? And the kusubuye ngoba bonke abantwana bakho baby daddy leyo.
Eish.
So, do you think she would want to go
Madam
in?
Musulu walukona until to
In the child's life, no.
Oh, akekho lapho.
In the child's life, no.
So obviously, I don't think there's a woman who dreams of having children with men that are not there in their lives. You know, it's very difficult because the thing is, you still need to have that conversation with umntwana, umtshele ukuthi babakho akekho, and umntwana futhi njengani nebafana niwes because nawukhula yeah mama vele wamcheat like baba.
Let me cheat.
No, angithi phela baba wakho ubuya after 16 years.
Oh, so now you have to do the
I was
same.
not there. It's because baba wakho bekangendela lo. Sena uthatha lo ugijime ngabo.
Usathola lokho wrong ubheke
Do you
eceleni.
understand? And nangabe ukuthi baba wakho beyadecidile ukuthi this is not for me. He has 16 or 20 or 50 years or 30 years to be able to come up with the story. It's the line one that you will just believe. Bonke nokumakho are going through one.
Now.
Guys, still you don't have questions. Wanna close it?
Oh, mina sokuphendulile mina nami.
Ngena mase sikhuluma ngo-2 stories.
Like ngiyava ukuthi bathi mageya akavami ntwana, it's true.
Well, nina niyavana nona.
Ayazivani.
It's the
No.
same thing.
Shout out.
Like ngathini, one
That's
thing
the
I'll tell
one.
you for free, ne? It's like successful men get along because they have things to talk about.
Yeah.
Right? But in general, if they have to go for a specific type of women that are going to be a challenge, they will not get along. Women don't get along because patriarchy has taught you, usi ningavani, because ni computer for my daughter. With gay people, it's the same in a sense because it's like you can't have genuine relationships with people. Abantu bacabanga ukuthi mina ngaba mngani nawe, but when you're probably looking at how I'm dressed, how I walk, how I talk, the people that I've associated myself with, nabafana bangibuka, you know. I mean, for instance, I've got more of a feminine body, you know. So I've always had issues with that because even though I was insecure, but people hated me just because I had more of a feminine body. And that attracts a certain type of men, you know, and I can't do anything about that. But also, I'll go back to what I said earlier. I would see women are homophobic, and having a lot of female interaction in women relationships sometimes is what tends to make us not get along. Because Nene, you want to compare us.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, when even straight people men do that, but like generally it's a lot of women with access because you will always be like, oh, hey, you are team gani, but you're not thinking about the privileges that I have had. You know what I mean? The fact that I've been able to leave this place and be able to go see what's outside and see how people like me portray themselves and the bodies that we live in and how we dress and everything else that might have motivated me to become the type of person that I am and as clean as you say. Where else background excess and all these other things, and then you want to start judging them based on that because now they are not palatable for you. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's like even a straight man suddenly if I get things for so no because we're closer to what I am, but in general uzonda so hayi ukuthi kunalo umzonda lesi kunalo umzonda
Yeah.
Zonda kangcono lo,
So,
zonda
maybe
kancane,
ngoba
zonda
I
kakhulu.
am more palatable for you.
Yeah.
Because this one is more straight, so it's more palatable.
Yeah.
Come in the form of indoda. So
Yeah.
now khona ukuthi nawe now after 9 aka-accommodate nonilala nabantu bangathi bona ukuthi bayalalana la. Bayadlala. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With most people, they'll go to the whole clean thing. So, you know.
Clean thing.
And for instance, there's a lot of people that don't understand that superpower we're in. We never always understood that being gay was my superpower because part of the reason why I can change jobs as much as I have, it's because people just generally look at me as an gay lo. Shows you must be a hard worker. Gay lo. Shows you must be this, you know. And the schools that I went to, they've helped me like speak the way I do, articulate myself the way I can. The circles that I have had in my life, my friends, the places that I've been able to go to, they help me have conversations where I can present myself in a specific type of way. So even if I'm not for you because I'm in a feminine form, but I'll be for you because of how my brain, the way I talk, the way my brain works, how I articulate myself, and all of those things. Those are privileges that other people don't have.
True. You mentioned earlier. Have guys specifically mistaken you for a girl?
Multiple times.
Nah.
Multiple times we was a bangshela and I ended up having to grow my beard and cut my hair because I was just tired of having to explain. And I'm very quick to tell you, yo.
No.
So
I'm very quick because of the amount of violence that we have to go through. You know, and I'm very wary of things like that. So I never want to put myself in a position where just because
you not talking and then you'll find out later what to actually the girl and then now you're subjected to physical
violence.
I remember this friend of mine, yeah. Samba Saiza.
Yeah.
Mostly, like on point. Mom shared like this guy was I'm born again. And then Mambo was like, how? I don't know guy. What?
And like to be quite honest, I'll see full time because that's what you assumed. That's your assumption.
Exactly, that's what I'm thinking.
But at the end of the day, no limalila lo. Assumption we're winning, and that's how the world works, unfortunately.
Oh, now, but that's not your fault.
Do you understand? So now I've taken it upon myself I had to now at least, because I know the world I live in.
But have you explained yourself and said, yo, I'm not this, I'm this, and dude was like, it's okay.
No, generally it's because born.
From get-go,
Yeah, loyal to work born, you know, but like in general, like I said, I don't date closeted men. I don't say so with myself with people like that. Because the only way they can keep you is by breaking down your self-esteem. You know, like for instance, me and now we can do our things, and then the next thing you start wanting to be possessive. We forget any contract, verbal contract,
NDAs,
my NDA. You know, and then after that, when you realize that
that happens, the NDA thing.
Not like Gucci specifically.
Yeah, but
like they do that a lot, like verbal contracts.
What
I like
don't.
to call them. And then the person will be like, and a minute, the biggest turn off you can ever say to me is, band, because half of the time, who are you?
Yeah.
Why would I want to go? Because when you are thinking so highly of yourself, you think, okay, people are desperate for you. I'm not everyone.
That's true.
I have had the quality of relationships. You know, I'm not just going to throw myself in a situation just because because like I said, half of the time these men don't even know how to satisfy you. So if it says we are gaining something from this thing, I'm technically not gaining anything from you. So when you are the prize, you are not. You want something from me. So if you're gonna come here with rules that don't make sense, if you don't boot out and how is it important because at the end of the day you think I take pride by people knowing my body count. I don't. And that's why good umuntu la lo ngakutshela ukuthi ngibuya ngatela.
Yeah.
Abathi kwasa ex yami lay one. Even the people that labahlala ngasekhaya iyabakhomba ngisho ne ex yami lay one. Ngeke.
Shut up.
I even have straight friends.
Yeah.
So you won't even be able to say, oh, Jolena's band.
Yeah.
I take pride in things like that because I'm not going to go around telling people my personal things. It's got nothing to do with you. So if you're going to come to me and say, "Ngakutshela bani," who are you?
Yeah.
What do you have?
Yeah.
Legenda ukuthi ube so ubone ngathi you're so special that I would run
You're the
around
prize.
telling people about you.
You're the crown.
Because for me, it's
Yeah.
let's be honest, so like for me to go around telling people ukuthi now
That's disgusting though.
it is disgusting, but then you have those verbal
But
contracts like I said.
Fuck song.
Bantu bathanda kakhulu umshemba bafana.
Yeah, so that's why I'm saying, Guti, I could never date people that are in the culture around here because of those specific issues. I don't want a person to belittle me just because they are gaining something from me.
Yeah.
You know? And yeah, immediately if I see any signs of that coming, like I will run.
Like I am running.
I will run.
This
We
is
do
not
meet.
for me.
Yeah, but Guti, maybe you're like, okay, maybe and he's not like an age, you know.
Yeah.
And everything, let's do things, you know. And then the next thing he starts getting attached to you because I mean in my brain, nothing's ever gonna happen, you know. I've already moved on from anything ever happening between the two of us. When I was you know,
You
and
look by
then when
yourself,
you realize that I'm actually
Gone.
uncomfortable and I don't even look at you in that regard, then for you it starts being real.
Hey man, before we leave, let's play a game. Okay? Let's play a game. We ask Casio Black 5 questions. Ne? Think of a question, think of a question, think of a question. Let's not get that crazy. Let's make it fun. Because we are not, let's make it fun. I'll start.
What game is the same aggression?
I'll start.
Okay.
What's your love language?
My love language is physical touch.
Okay.
Um,
Look at the smile on his face.
No, I mean it could just be a hug. You know,
Yeah.
it doesn't need to be anything. I'm a very affectionate person.
Oh, hands
Like
on.
I
Nice.
greet people with
Yeah,
hugs.
with
You
hugs,
know,
yeah.
I'm literally that person. Acts of service. Yeah, mostly just those things.
Yeah, shut up.
Mm.
What's the question? Yeah?
Why am I single? Because I can't date in Nelspruit. I'm trying to do Boba win. I'm okay with that. Like, the single life suits me better. I'm running puppy champagne.
Yeah.
Pop champagne.
My brother question?
I'm here to see question.
Go ahead and ask me.
Nah, no, I'm just kidding. First, before I ask the question, I
Yeah.
need to thank this day. That's the reason today I'm not talking. I mean, a very big expert to speak about the cool. I mean, cool. There's like 2 hours there. Yeah, but so
No comment in the big.
yeah, so like I'm here because of that, and one thing she would say is what come out, keep it outfit. Like,
You!
I always look good.
You!
Like I'm
Yeah,
saying,
no lie.
guys,
No
like,
lie.
no
lie.
However, today
Yeah.
I was just like, you know,
yeah.
I'm like, hey,
Guys,
Even
it's special.
The other episode there was you need to be clean, guys. Like you need to be clean and
Yeah.
stuff. You
Yeah,
understand?
yeah,
So
yeah.
like shout out to that.
thank you.
Yeah, cool.
That's the best way to respect people. Smell nice.
You look good.
Look good.
And you feel good too.
That's a question. I got a lot of them in my mind.
Throw one, my brother. Take your best throw one.
So when the last time you had sex?
Ah.
Because
I'm not gonna answer that.
I just say don't be aggressive. That's
That one I'm
aggressive, my
not gonna
brother.
answer.
Oh, but we need one question there. Okay,
No, that's
no,
way
no.
too personal for me to
Okay.
Like they already know I'm having sex.
How about you say you're not dating? That's the reason I'm asking that one.
Yeah, obviously I'm not
Doesn't mean-
dating, but it doesn't mean.
You're not dating,
doing
so.
it. No, okay. No.
And it hasn't been anytime soon. That much I can tell you. It's been a
No.
while, like a really, really long while.
No, okay.
Damn.
Like we're in the Sahara.
We try.
I already answered it anyways, even though I said I wouldn't answer.
So, yeah.
Oh,
it's
okay.
crazy,
I know
okay.
you. Thanks, brother. Thanks a lot.
I don't have a type anymore. You know, when I was growing up, I've always been coined the chubby chaser of the group. You know, I always like.
The chubby chaser.
Yeah, not like chubby, but you can
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, you like
taller than me.
Yeah.
Always, I mean,
A bit more.
obviously I'm quite short, so
Yeah.
that happens a lot. But now I'm open to dating because now I attract the opposite of what I've always been. I told myself I was attracted to, you know, and I'm starting to find them physically attractive. You know, I never used to like pretty boys, never liked light-skinned men. But I find myself dating a lot of them, you know, and it's mostly because they are the ones that approach me the
attracted,
most. You know?
yeah.
And I've always just gone for like the darkest guy you could find. You know, he must be tall, he must be thick or fat. You know? Now
Like
I don't.
you like them kush?
Yeah, now I'm not so much into the thick ones because they tend to be a little bit more insecure. And
Yeah, you guys have something.
they tend to be a little bit more insecure, you know, so I'm okay with that right now in this part of my life because I don't want to have to build a person's confidence. I mean,
Hey, that's
I want
stressful.
someone that I'm going to move with.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
we can all have insecurities, we're all people.
Yeah.
But I don't want someone I have to build your confidence, like, you know. So right now I'm open to dating, all sorts, you know. I don't have a racial preference. I've never had one.
White, Indian,
Yeah.
Japanese.
I've dated white, you know.
Okay.
Sulman.
So forget people too.
Hey, look at money those people, bruh.
I'm a Sulman.
Saudi Arabia.
Yeah,
Hey,
people
man.
too, you know.
I'm talking these ones, these ones, they're having tuck shop around the location.
Ah, yeah.
You must push them in outside.
I got one fun little question
Yeah.
before you go. Have you ever met a guy? Shella.
Me,
Yeah.
it never.
Nah, I could
Never.
tell.
You know why?
Why?
With relationships, especially at this time and age, instigation is where it all starts. So if I instigate,
I'm moving you to this position so
then
you
you're
can.
automatically going
Yeah,
to
so you
put me in a
can see,
position
yeah.
where now I must become the man,
Yeah.
even though you want to assume some parts of being a man. You know what I mean? So it doesn't go hand in hand.
Yeah, it doesn't
because
align.
either you're not going to appreciate me because you don't know,
Yeah.
or I'm going to have to bear the burden of being the man in the relationship. And trust me, like a lot of men are okay with not being the
Breastfeeding,
man in the
yeah.
relationship, apart from when it suits me. You know, so like I said, I'm not in the business of making people happy in Timbawam. I'm not going to pay you to be in a relationship with me. If you can't stand on your own 2 feet, you're not for me.
Ivan, Mfana.
Big up to you, man.
No,
Thank
thanks,
you very, very much for being part of this.
Thank you.
Really appreciate. It's that glow.
I was very scared to her at first. I was just like,
Why now? What's wrong with
I
us
don't
now?
know that didn't happen.
What am I finding?
My business is not known by anybody.
Yeah.
And I respect myself enough to not expose anything I do to other people.
Yeah.
I respect my exes, especially the ones that I get along with.
Yeah.
If I don't get along with you, I've already unknown you, so you don't exist. But I have genuine, like, great relationships with all my past exes. We still talk.
Yeah.
You know, we're in a very friendly place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a. We're not bitter.
No,
We're not bitter.
I'm not a better ex. I mean, I'm the type of ex that would want to be like,
Man, thank you so much, man, for gracing us with your presence today, for your stories. I'm
Thank you
I'm so looking forward to what you're doing next, your journey, where to from here. You know, I will send you L'Oreal, you know, all those things. I hope whatever you wished come true. You understand? I hope it
You're
comes
going
true.
very far.
I can
Going
tell.
very, very
I
far.
can tell. I can tell. Bro. Thank
Yeah,
you so
you'll
much.
just have to
man.
watch the space, you know, follow me on my social media
Yeah,
platforms.
where can they follow you?
You know,
man?
on YouTube, I'm going to be consistent very soon because right now a lot has been going on. So
Now we
it's
can teach you a
caps
thing.
lock.
We can teach you a thing or two about consistent.
No, it's not about not trying to be consistent. It's about the amount of things that I have to do,
You have to do.
the amount of careers that I have to juggle, you know.
Oh,
Because I
yeah,
find
for
myself
time.
in, like, for instance, now I'm working in the education sphere. So we deal with a lot with my learnerships. So there'll be times where we have like my learnerships now with the people, like people over 1,000, you know.
Yeah.
And that's capturing information, having to produce, learning materials and all
Yeah.
these things. And sometimes those are sleepless nights. And I don't have time to have a camera in front of my face, see me doing things that no one wants to watch that. It's admin, you know?
True, yeah.
And then now I can't capture that, so I can't bring it out. And when I do have content, sometimes I can't bring it out. Even like the last vlog I took out on TikTok and my Instagram, I shot probably maybe weeks ago, but because I was writing my exams, I didn't have time. I had to be hyper focused on.
Delayed on coming out.
Yes, you know what I mean. However, on YouTube you can find me on caps lock. It's forever_black. I'm sure they'll put it on the description below. On my TikTok, I am forever Casio black. On Instagram, I am Casio_black. On Facebook, nobody really cares about that. But like, you know, for Facebook people, I'm Brian Black.
Shut up, man.
Because
Shut
I
up.
generally just repost things there.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay.
But I do have a community, you know, it's just I'm not as present
Yeah.
as you'd find me possibly on TikTok. Because I
Omnibus.
do a lot of,
Shout out to the Omnibus community.
the village.
The village.
I say, Vala Bafana, we're so sorry to ask offer something. That's like, we still.
So Jelabone.
It's a Shama baby step,
That
guys.
could have been our secret.
You need to tell them, because maybe someone who knows offer something like, yeah,
But you need to like, approach them.
Oh yeah, guys! Before you all leave, please subscribe, like, and comment. Please, we beg you, comment, subscribe.
Thank you.
It's a Podcast. We out.